Previously on Chronic Failure.
Corn on the cob, corn on the stove, corn on the toilet, corn in the garbage. Corn on the garbage is really good. I think the biggest problem with the way that we talk about diabetes is that it is purely based off of behavior. The cheapest food that we can get at the grocery store is usually the stuff that ends up causing the diabetes. The second part is the war on diabetes. So anyone who has diabetes already is basically a casualty of war.
And now, on to the episode.
When I was first diagnosed with diabetes, my doctor told me, look, this is what the experts say, that you should cut out all sugar. Realistically, that's not realistic. And then she gave an example of her husband. He apparently was a huge Mountain Dew drinker. Loved drinking Mountain Dew. And so one day, he decided he was going to cut out all Mountain Dew completely. Well, 1 week later, he came back and was drinking twice the amount. Whoa, that happened. Yeah, this is why you shouldn't eat and talk. He came back and was eating or drinking twice as much Mountain Dew as he had been before, because he was trying to make up for the lost time or the time that he hadn't. So she basically told me that it's about moderation. It's not about just complete cut everything out. And, those were things that I lived by, and I made sure to do a bunch of tests of, well, what's actually causing my blood sugar to spike? Is it the carbs? And there's an added thing on top of that, not just make a spike, but keep it up there, so because diabetes is essentially your blood sugar goes high and then it stays high for an extended period of time, and sometimes it goes way higher than it should. Basically, I've found that I can have carbs, it makes it go high, but it makes all of us go high, but then it goes back down. And so you'll see me out and about having, pop and things that maybe I shouldn't, but it's like, why cut it out completely if I don't have it that often? So diabetes, and this is very much an oversimplification, so keep that in mind. It's not completely scientific. There are two types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. And technically there's a few others, like gestational, which is when pregnant mothers get diabetes. But I'm just going to focus on 1 and 2 for right now. So the way I like to look at it is your liver is a frat party that's going on. It's like, alright, let's do this, dude, right? It's gonna be fabulous, and then they're turning on their music way too loud, and the neighbors are getting annoyed, and it's producing blood sugar, producing noise into your bloodstream, and that starts building up. Your pancreas is like a police station or campus security. It sends over some officers or some security people to come over and be like, knock on the frat party's door in the liver and be like, hey, okay, turn down the noise, turn down the blood sugar, just stop producing more blood sugar, more noise. Now, with type 2 diabetes, and again, this is very much an oversimplification, with type 2 diabetes, basically the frat boys don't care. The fraternity doesn't care. It just keeps producing it's like, all right, and then just continues part of creating more noise, more blood sugar, producing more blood sugar in the stream. What happens in type 1 diabetes, again, another oversimplification, is the police, the police department doesn't have enough officers, and so it can't send out that information to the frat boys, to the fraternity house of turn the music down, stop. So when you eat something, it goes really high. If you don't eat enough, then that amount of insulin, the amount of police, they just start, going willy-nilly to quiet houses and saying, turn down the music, and we don't have any music. So that's type 1 and type 2. Again, very oversimplification, but I don't know. That's how I've always viewed it. When I got sick, and had to come home in 2017, my mom told me, your full-time job right now is to get better. Well, it's been my full-time job since 2017, so you can see how that's worked out for me. But one of the ways that I think that one of the important things is to educate yourself on what you have, or what even you might have, because I don't have an official diagnosis of the overarching thing. We don't know. In theory, it might be Sjogren's. In theory, it might be God only knows what. The way that I tend to understand things is creating stories in my brain, like that fraternity house and police example. It's the best way that I can think of to explain, in a way that makes sense.
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe and like. That would be great.